In this case, where you don't know much about VAWA or you may miss a fact about VAWA, it also means that you miss the opportunity to apply for VAWA relief. And once that opportunity is missed, some people cannot get it back. I'm going to tell you little known facts about VAWA so that if you are in that situation, you don't miss the opportunity to apply for this. Because sometimes I do have consultations with people that come and they tell me about a situation that fits squarely within VAWA, but guess what happens? The time has passed and they no longer qualify for this. So I want to make sure that you don't have to face a situation like that and you can jump on the opportunity to apply for your own green card, your own work permit while you wait on the green card right here in the US. Now, the first fact here is you were married to a US citizen, right? And then this US citizen became a nightmare. You decided to go ahead and divorce them. Sometimes before you even applied for your papers with them, you may have even moved forward with applying for your papers with them, but cancel those papers because you just did not want to move forward in this type of marriage. And I want you to know in this case, it's urgent. You can still qualify for VAWA, but you are on a tight deadline to get that VAWA application in. And that's because you only have 2 years after the divorce has been finalized to still apply for VAWA based on the mistreatment of your US citizen or resident spouse. So do not let this opportunity pass. I've seen it happen too many times, and I don't want it to happen to you. This is why I come on here. This is why I tell you about these facts so that if you are relating to it, you can get on it and get the assistance as soon as possible. So once again, if you're divorced from a US citizen or resident, you've been divorced for less than 2 years, and you divorced because this individual was mistreating you, then let's start with a consultation because you likely qualify for VAWA. VAWA would enable you to apply in a confidential process without involving this spouse. They would not be involved at all. So you don't have to worry about letting them back into your life. They are still going to be in your rear view mirror, but you will be making lemonade out of lemons because you can still use a bad situation to create a future where you can heal, move forward, and thrive with you and your family remaining here in the US. So it's confidential. You don't involve that ex-spouse, and you get to get your work permit. Right now, they're issuing 5-year work permits, your travel document, so you can travel internationally while you're waiting, and you get to get your green card at the same time. So this process is 2.5 to 3 years total to get to the green card, but you get these benefits while you wait for the green card. That's a much better advantage than sitting here with no papers at all, no ability to legally work, and dealing with the disadvantages of not having your legal papers. Now, keep in mind, this is sort of tied in with the divorce. This also counts if the spouse passed away or if the spouse was deported. So if they were, say, denaturalized as a US citizen, or they were a permanent resident, but they got deported, then you can still qualify to get your papers through VAWA, even though they lost their status or even though they may have passed away. So don't think that you have missed the opportunity because they passed away or they were deported or lost their permanent residence. You can still move forward with your process. So please make sure you don't let any time go by because there is no extension for this. There is no forgiveness. There's no waiver for this. Once the deadline passes, you miss your opportunity. Now, the other fact here is if you are a son or daughter of a US citizen or a permanent resident, you are mistreated by that US citizen or legal permanent resident while you were under 21. Now you are over 21, but you're under 25, you may not have missed the opportunity to apply for this because chances are that delay was as a result or related to the abuse or mistreatment by your parent. If that's the case and you still have not applied, but you're still under 25 years old, you can still apply for VAWA, get the benefits of VAWA, and be able to get your green card in a confidential process without involving this relative, this parent, this US citizen or legal permanent resident parent. So keep that fact in mind. The other fact here is if you enter the country without permission, this is one type of relief where you can get your green card even though you enter the country without permission. You can still apply for this. You can still apply for adjustment of status. And in some cases, you can even overcome the permanent bar. That means you left the country, then you re entered. Say you left the country after being here unlawfully for a while, then you left and came back, or you were deported and returned, then that can result in a permanent bar. But keep in mind that under VAWA, you can overcome that permanent bar if your return into the US that would have resulted in a permanent bar was related to the mistreatment or abuse that you were experiencing. Here's an example. Maybe you were deported and your children were left, your US citizen children were left with the spouse. And then say maybe the spouse coerce you to cross the border again and get back into the country so you can take care of the kids. Or maybe your kids were being mistreated and you felt the urgency to try to get back into the country to get to your kids. That is a way that the abuse is still related to your re-entry and can mean that you can overcome the permanent bar to still be able to get your green card.